start here. What if I told you the simplest online business isn't about complex products or viral videos? It's just about organizing information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about some complicated sauce platform here. We're talking about selling simple, structured data files. Think of them like, I don't know, ultra-specialized phone books. And selling them for maybe $29, $49 a year. This model works because people pay to skip the tedious work, the collection part.
Mm-hmm. And we are diving into how AI tools can automate pretty much this entire process. We're turning hours of manual research into, well, minutes of automated generation, which makes this a genuinely viable, profitable side business for almost anyone. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to unpack the business model of selling these highly organized, specific data libraries. We have a clear 5-step plan for you.
Yeah, that 5-step plan is really the core of it. Find, collect, filter, enrich, and sell. Simple steps. We'll show you some real-world examples like building an AI tool database or maybe a blog niche research file. And we'll show you how you can get your first sale probably within 2 weeks if you follow the system.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We're in the information age. Almost all data is free somewhere. So why does selling organized data files actually work? Why do professionals pay for this?
It really boils down to efficiency.
Yeah.
And trust, I think. Professionals, marketers, bloggers, researchers, they need specific facts. Like right now,
Yeah.
they could spend days trying to scrape and verify data themselves.
Right.
Or they could just pay you, say, $40 to get a clean, ready-to-use file instantly. The value you're providing is basically time saved, pure and simple.
And that time saving is powered by the secret weapon here, which is AI. Using today's LLM tools, you don't collect data by hand anymore. You automate almost everything. This means you're creating saleable products in minutes, maybe hours, not weeks.
That automation capability is absolutely crucial. It makes this whole thing accessible for anyone, even if you don't have like deep coding experience. The barrier to entry for building a sophisticated data product, it's just collapsed.
So if we distill it down, customers aren't really buying information itself. They're buying convenience.
Spot on. They want convenience. They're paying money to save their valuable time. Simple as that.
Okay, so every successful data library follows that exact 5-step process you mentioned. Find an idea, collect the raw data, filter it, enrich it, and finally, package and sell it.
Right. Let's start with finding a hot idea. That's step 1. Right now, a database of AI tools for content writers. That's gold. Seriously. This niche is constantly changing. New tools pop up daily. Writers will happily pay a subscription to avoid that manual searching every day.
Mm-hmm. So the actual collection process, step 2, that's where the automation really kicks in. You mentioned using a method called recursive brainstorm with modern tools, maybe open source ones like Simpler LLM. And just for clarity, Simpler LLM is it's an example of an open source framework. It's good for reliable, structured batch processing with AI.
Yeah, and recursive brainstorm sounds a bit intimidating, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's really just asking the AI for, say, 5 ideas. Then you ask it to expand those 5 into 5 more, then repeat.
Okay.
It's kind of like growing a tree, right?
Yeah.
But with data points, you can generate hundreds of records really quickly this way, maybe in an hour.
Okay, so for our AI tools example, the prompt, the instruction to the AI, needs to demand structured output. Things like the tool name, a short sentence description, and the starting price. That structured output is then easily saved into like a CSV format, right?
Yep.
Like a simple spreadsheet.
Exactly. And then comes step 3, filtering. This is critical. You can't skip this. The AI might just invent tools. We call that hallucination, or it might miss the actual pricing data. So you absolutely must manually check, say, the first 20 or 30 rows yourself, just to assess the initial quality.
Okay, wait. If the AI is prone to making things up, doesn't that manual checking start to eat into the time saved? Where's the tipping point where automation still clearly wins out?
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's a bit of friction there. Automation wins because we only manually check that first tiny fraction, just to sample. After that, we use simple scripts to automatically delete rows that are obviously bad-like rows with an empty tool name or maybe a $0 price. But honestly, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes when filtering that initial junk data. It happens.
And for listeners who haven't run big AI jobs, when you say prompt drift, you mean the AI starts kind of forgetting the rules you set, right? It loses focus and starts giving you, well, junk data instead of the structured stuff you asked for.
Exactly that. It's like the model gets tired or loses context and forgets the structure you requested. So that manual check just verifies we have a strong, consistent baseline before we let the automated cleanup run.
Gotcha. So we check those initial rows manually to validate the AI's quality and its output consistency.
Precisely. You need that baseline check.
Okay, then step 4, enrichment. You call this the value generator. This turns a basic list, which, let's be honest, probably no one pays for, into a premium, actionable product. The kind that gets you into that, say, $49 territory.
Yeah, you got to think like the buyer here.
Mm.
The blog writer or the marketer, they need more than just a name and a price. That's not enough. They want the website URL. They want to know if it offers a free trial. They want to know what specific marketing tasks the tool is best for, actionable stuff.
Right, so we use an enrichment script for this,
Mhm.
which is just another automated batch job, basically, that runs through every single row of our existing file and asks the AI to find and add these new details.
Exactly. And this transforms the data from just a list into immediately actionable information.
Yeah.
It lets the customer make purchasing decisions right away without doing any more research themselves.
Mm.
It turns a static list into like a competitive edge for them.
That sounds incredibly powerful for scaling this up. But
Yeah.
what about the cost? What does enriching a massive file, say 100,000 rows, actually cost in AI credits or API calls?
That's the beautiful part, really. For 100,000 rows of fairly light enrichment like this, we're talking maybe $10 to $50. Depends on the AI model and complexity, sure, but it's negligible compared to the potential revenue.
Whoa.
Imagine scaling that enrichment script to process, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of niche entries automatically. The possibilities.
Yeah, that's impressive. And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, this method works for pretty much any data type, right? Take your second example, building a blog niche ideas database.
Right. For blog niches, enrichment would mean using the AI to add maybe the specific target audience for that niche, and perhaps 3 example blog post titles for each niche idea it finds.
But we can make it even better than just the AI, right? This is where you mentioned bringing in a non-AI tool.
Absolutely. This is key. We use a data API. Something like Keywords Everywhere is a popular one. We use it to pull in objective, quantifiable data, specifically the monthly search volume for each niche.
Okay, and just for clarity, a data API is simply a way for your script to programmatically ask for and pull in real-time numbers, like search volume, from some third-party provider.
Yeah, and that API connection is so important because it adds objective external validation to your data. It's the difference between saying, hey, this is probably a good niche, and saying, this niche gets 50,000 monthly searches.
Mm-hmm.
That measurable data is why people will pay significantly more. It removes guesswork.
Got it. So connecting to a data API adds those valuable hard metrics that really justify a higher price tag.
Definitely. It adds that layer of credibility.
Okay. So now you have valuable enriched data. The product is essentially built. So what does this all mean for monetization? How do you actually sell it? You mentioned 3 ways.
Yeah, 3 main options. Option 1 is the easiest, kind of the entry point. Selling it as a simple digital file. You just save it as a clean Google Sheet or an Excel file, and then upload it to a marketplace like Gumroad. Gumroad handles all the payments, the delivery. It's perfect for a beginner just trying to validate the idea quickly.
Okay, simple file. Option 2, you said, is the more professional move, building a simple web application around your data.
Yeah, exactly. This lets people actually interact with the data, search it, sort it, filter it, like filtering those AI tools by price range or by feature. People will pay significantly more for that professional experience and usability.
Right, the interaction adds value.
For sure. And you can build this today without needing extensive coding skills yourself. There are tools like v0.dev by Vercel or Replic's AI features. You basically just describe the searchable database you want, and the AI generates the necessary code for you. You're selling a search experience, not just a spreadsheet anymore.
Interesting. Okay, and the third way, the most technical approach.
That's turning your organized data into an API, an application programming interface. This is essentially a technical pipeline. It allows other businesses or developers to automatically pull your data directly into their own apps or workflows.
Okay, so B2B.
Yeah, mostly B2B. Listing your API on a marketplace like Rapid API is excellent for generating that sticky, reliable monthly subscription income from other companies. But look, my solid advice is always start with Gumroad, get those first few sales, prove there's market demand. If you hit consistent sales, then it makes sense to invest the time and maybe a bit of money in building the web app or the API. Don't overbuild early.
Makes sense. An API is definitely ideal if your target customers are developers or larger businesses needing that direct integration.
Absolutely. Know your customer.
So this repeatable 5-step method, find, collect, filter, enrich, sell it, really seems to work for any specific data set. What other examples have you seen out there in the market that stand out? I know I've seen things like influencer contact lists or directories of dropshipping suppliers. Even hyper-specific real estate data seems to be sold successfully this way.
Oh yeah, tons of examples. To find ideas yourself, a great place to look is online communities. Like, go browse subreddits such as Ersaz or niche marketing forums. See what specific data people are complaining about missing or what they mention manually tracking in spreadsheets. That's often a goldmine. Or just solve your own professional problem. If you needed specific data for your work, it's highly likely others do too. Scratch your own itch.
Good advice. Okay, before we finish up, let's cover the most important tips for actually achieving long-term success with this. Tip 1, you emphasized. Focus relentlessly on specificity. Go niche. Don't sell just general keywords. Sell something like keyword databases specifically for high-end boutique pet stores. Specificity is easier to market, you can target better, and you can charge significantly higher prices, right?
Absolutely. Specificity equals higher perceived value. Tip 2 is all about retention, especially if you want subscriptions. Keep your data fresh. You need to set up automated scripts to run, maybe weekly or monthly, to update the information. Stale data kills recurring revenue. And tip 3 is always prioritize quality over quantity. 100 deeply accurate, verified tools will always beat 5,000 messy, broken entries. Always.
Okay, but I want to challenge the pricing assumption a little. Isn't $49 potentially too high for just a single CSV file, even an enriched one? Won't people just try to find the information themselves if the barrier to entry for them seems low?
That's a fair question, and it comes up a lot. But you have to understand the buyer's mindset here. Usually they're a professional. They value their time, often in terms of billable hours. So $49 is actually negligible if it saves them, say, 5 hours of tedious research and verification work.
Okay.
The higher price actually communicates that your data is already curated, validated, and ready to use. It signals quality. If you price it too low, like $5, you kind of suggest it might be junk data they'll have to re-verify anyway. Price signals value. Don't undercharge.
That makes sense. Price is a signal. And tip 4 you mentioned is critical, especially for anyone maybe short on time. Test the market first.
Yes.
Create a minimum viable version, maybe just 100 to 500 records. Package it simply. Put it on Gumroad for, say, $15 or $19. If people actually buy that small initial file, then you know it's worth investing the resources to build the huge comprehensive version.
Exactly. Testing the market first with a small data set. That is the single most important strategic step. Do that before investing weeks into full production. Validate first.
Okay, wrapping up. What's really fascinating here, I think, is how AI has democratized this role of the information broker. It feels accessible now. The big idea seems to be that a valuable business can often be incredibly simple at its core. Finding useful information, rigorously organizing it, and then selling convenience back to professionals who value their time.
Yeah, totally. We learned the system is perfectly repeatable. Find, collect, filter, enrich, and sell. That's the loop. And crucially, the really heavy lifting parts, the collection and the enrichment, those are now largely handled by AI and fairly cheap API services. That proves the model is practical now and highly viable for building some serious side income or even a full business.
So if you're listening and you're ready to jump in, here is your simple, maybe 2-week action plan. This week, choose your specific niche, really define it, and write down exactly who is going to buy this data. Get your basic tools ready. That probably means an LLM account, maybe OpenAI or Anthropic, and perhaps a simple setup with Python or VS Code if you want to automate scripts, though you could start manually.
Yep. Then next week, write your first prompt. Create just a small data set. 100 to 200 records is fine to start. Filter it, enrich it. Don't aim for perfection here. No. Just go for getting it done. Get something out there.
Right. And then within 14 days, roughly, upload that clean and rich data to a free Gumroad account. Set a price point, maybe test that $29 level, and publish it. Your entire goal initially is just chasing that first sale. That's the proof point, proof that people actually want your organized knowledge.
Exactly. Get that validation.
Yeah.
And here's a final provocative thought for you to explore on your own. Once you build one successful data library, and you've got the process down, how many different niches could you potentially serve using the exact same automation and enrichment scripts you already built? Think about that leverage.